everybody. KNWI coming to you live. Let's just start this power hour off with some music. Play for change. When the levee breaks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The Native Wellness Institute Power Hour. My name is Tagaban. I just love this song, so I thought I'd try to play it. When the levee breaks, play for change. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just come on and just sit and listen for a bit this hour. Take some time. Take care of your spirit. Gonna do some spirit talk today. From Grand Rapids, right on. Brother Tony's on. Oh, from Hawaii. Oh no, brother. All right. It's actually John Paul Jones with the bassist for Zep. He's put together this Play for Change, and he brought in some Maori singers, some indigenous people, musicians to play When the Levee Breaks. Although I do like Zep. All right, welcome, 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 welcome. All right. Hey, good afternoon, man. I just want to jam out on that song here today. Gonna cheese. Hey, everybody. Good to see ya. Just kind of getting situated and get things arranged over here and in my part of the town. So, hey, my name is Gene Tagaban. I'm going to introduce myself. And I was taught that one of the most important things that we could do in our lives is learn how to introduce ourselves. We're always introducing ourselves wherever we go, not just by saying our name, but wherever we walk, how we speak, how we hold ourselves, how we hold our hair, how we eat, and our attitudes. And it was my grandma, my great grandma, she told me, says, no, wherever you go, you always got to remember that you don't don't just represent yourself. You represent your family, your people, your clans, native peoples. You might be the only native people out there that the people see. Also, you got to hold yourself up in a good way. And always, son, always remember you always wear clean underwear too. Now go get me a cup of coffee and a cookie. Holy. And so, uh, yeah, I don't know which one was more important, the clean underwear part or actually the introduction. But again, learn how to introduce yourself. And I was taught that one of the things about introducing yourself and learning how that way is we're connecting ourselves and we're building our relationship closer to our relatives, closer to our ancestors, closer to those who came before us. And also we're building that relationship too with those relatives who are coming after us, those future generations as well. So Gaya Yahakdu Sak Dakden Tana Kalkitna Kalkdu Kandu Ayahutsiti, which Kitanyaria Hata Ishikti to Sak, Tlinkita Waya, Slagi, Filipina, Konas Jish, and Yahusani, Yak Ewaya Haya De Konas Jish Hoho. So I just said hi. And that's how we say hello as Native peoples, Indians, Indigenous peoples. We share with you a bit of our spirit, our story, and our history. My name is Gene Tagaban. My Tlingit name is Gayal. I'm of the Duckdane Ton clan, the Raven Freshwater Sockeye clan from Hoona, Alaska. The child of a Wishkatan Eagle Shark clan from Juan in Juneau, Alaska. I'm Cherokee, Tlingit, and Filipino. And as many people have heard me, I refer to myself as a Cherokee Tlingapino. Means I like to eat my salmon with rice and cornbread. Well, my last name is Tagaban. My father is Tlingit and Filipino. In the Philippines, is pronounced as Tagaban. And my grandfather comes from Bentoc, and my great-grandfather comes from Ilocos Norte. My mama, she's full-blood Cherokee, the real deal Cherokee. Her Cherokee name or Slagi name is Weeg, and I'm of the Wolf Clan. She was born in Jay, Oklahoma, raised in Xena, Oklahoma. And before the Trail of Tears, the long walk, she traced our lineage back to Georgia, Tennessee, and North Carolina, as they are referred to now. And right now, I'm coming to you from the territories of the Coast Salish people on the traditional lands of the Puyallup people. And I like to tell people in the shadows of Mount Tahoma. Mount Tahoma, the original name of a mountain they refer to as Mount Rainier right now, who was named after a British individual. But Mount Tahoma, the traditional name, the place where the water originates from. And it's good to be here with the Native Wellness Institute, the Power Hour. We go on Wednesdays. We've been going on for the last couple of years now. I'm not even going to try to count how many times we've been on, but we're here just to bring that message of health, wellness, or whatever it may be, that to the people, and you are the people. And as I was talking about earlier, about learning how to introduce ourselves and practice that, go out there on the waters, on the land, and even speak to yourself in the mirror. Just practice how to introduce yourself. Yeah. I also wanted just to acknowledge my partner, my wife too, Ruby. She's Ani and Nakota, and her peoples come from the area of Fort Belknap and that area. And she's also northern Italian, her, and so I want to acknowledge her too, because she's part of my journey as well, my wellness and my healing journey as well. And so it's good to be here. And just remember, as you're walking the lands, wherever you're at. I got a brother over there, Tony. Oh, hey, it's good that you're over there. Wherever you're at, just to drop some tobacco or just say thank you. Acknowledge the original peoples of the land that you're walking on, wherever you're at. I was born in Chicago, the village of Chicago, and I believe it's the Ojibwe area, the Potawatomi, peoples over there in that area too. And so, yeah, whose lands were you born on as well? Whose lands were you born on? So just to simply, even if you don't know, just to simply say thank you, thank you, Wato, Salama Po, thank you, and just send that message out there. And so as we're on this power hour here, I just wanted to share a little bit about wellness and health, and talk to the spirit of the people. Talk to your spirit. If you're driving in your car, just let this go on and just listen to it. Maybe you're in your office or in the kitchen, your house, just put it to the side, just do whatever you're doing, and just let the whatever, just to reach you, just to reach you. It was my teacher of mine, you know, Chris, and Kuchish is his name. And he sat me down this one time and he told me, he says, now when you talk to the peoples, you talk to their spirit. And when you talk to their spirit, that's how you're going to influence them in that good way. In that good way, you're talking to the spirit of the people. And so I'm just here to share with you, and I'm here to share with your spirit as well in this moment, in this time. So I say, Ganesh Jish. Anyway, hi, Ade. It's good that you are here. And in this springtime that we're coming up, doesn't feel too springy here in the Pacific Northwest right now. It's a little breezy. This morning I went out, and although it was clear out, I could see my breath. I could see my breath out there, and it's been really blustery and stormy out this last couple weeks or so. But yet, in my front yard, we have this here tree. It resembles that of like a cedar tree. And each year for the last 3-4 years, we've had house finches come in and build their nests there, laying their eggs and raising their family each spring. And right now there's a family that's in that tree again, reusing those same nests. And I have to admit, my wife Ruby, she, the first year she called me, and I can't get over it too. I can't release that. She's like, because I went out there and I collect bird nests, and I would take the nests and I take them and I show them to kids, youth, let them hold them, let them see them, let them touch it, and explore, really check out these nests. And every once in a while, if I'm working with a group, I'll say, okay, now go out there, collect materials, and you'll make your own nest and see if you can make a nest that is equal to this one that this bird made. And so they'll go out there, gather all the materials, whatever it is, mud and everything, and they start weaving their nests together. And it's just a good attempt at making a nest, but I haven't found an individual yet who can equal the building of a nest than the original, those original weavers of those birds. But they use their nests over and over, like the eagle. Each year they just come in and they'll reuse their nest. Ravens too, they'll come in and reuse their nests. And why didn't I realize this with the smaller birds too? So I took their nest that was out in the shrubs and in the tree in our front yard. I took that nest. I was going, oh, the kids will love looking at this nest. And my wife said, going, just leave that nest alone. Leave it alone. You don't have any right to take that nest. Oh, you're just being like a colonizer right now. You're being a colonizer. Leave that nest alone. And I said, oh, it's okay. They'll build another nest, And sure enough, they came there again, even that same year. And they ended up building another nest. Wasn't as good. but it did the job. And then they came back the next year and started reusing those nests. And this year is really stormy. Winds were blowing, trees were whipping, it was raining a lot, hail, and we were worried about those birds out there. We were worried about those birds. But they made it through. That mama, she sat on that nest. Now we got 4 little baby birds in that nest in the front. Surely spring is coming. Surely new life is on its way. Surely a new beginning is beginning. Sometimes if we just leave things alone and let them be and just trust that things, that they'll be okay. That they'll be okay. That they have the skills, like we will be okay. We have the skills. We're going into a new season, a new year. A new season and a new year. And a new time when things are starting to open up as well. People are starting to take their masks off. Myself, one, I'll continue to wear my masks because I'm around elders. I have my parents who are aging, who are elder. And my dad, he can't even catch a cold. Can't catch a cold, bottom line, or else that will be it for him. And so I'll be still wearing my mask, but things are opening up now. And we learned a lot during this time, this pandemic, right? I know I did. And I can almost tell you, guarantee you, right now that I'm a different person right now than I was at the beginning of the pandemic, at the beginning of this illness. I don't know. Maybe it's like my priorities of became clearer. I'm still integrating all that. I'm still integrating all that. I know Ruby's and our relationship has gotten stronger. How about yours? Has your relationship with your partner gotten stronger? I enjoy being home with our dogs and in the house, and that is sacred space. Our home is your home, and a sacred space. And I feel grateful that I had somebody to spend that time with and to grow with, And I believe that Ruby too she's a different person than when this all started, this pandemic. But I just really wanted to just speak on that and just about those birds that in the springtime to really pay attention out there. I want to encourage you to go out there and just walk around and breathe and take it out. Check out the trees, the very air that you breathe, the water, the buds that are coming on the trees, the sprouts that are coming up from the earth, the ground. Just take a moment. All it takes is like five minutes just to step out, just to take a look. Just to take a moment. And so and so again, I was fortunate to have somebody in my life I could spend that time with. But I know there's a lot of people out there who spent that time alone. That time alone. It really affected them. It really affected them. And again, they started getting things straight. They started to put things in line and taking a look at their lives too. And I just want to acknowledge some of them. They actually cut ties with many things. Oftentimes it's called, they cut those golden cords. They cut those golden cords that were kept them attached to this other commitments or old stuff, or maybe it kept them away from their own wellness. It kept them away from their own healing. And so they started cutting those cords. and really taking a look at their healing, taking a look at their hurt and the harm, the historical trauma that they had in their own families, and being real with it. I know a few brothers, not just one or two, but a few, who really had to, step back and take a look at these things. One was single, one was just getting out of a divorce, and one was like, trying to take care of his kids. But during that time, they really had to take a look at themselves. What was important to them? What was their priorities? Why did I think this way about some things or think this way about something? And oftentimes too, it's like they're talking about is, I feel like I'm a fraud. I feel like I'm inauthentic. Because behind closed doors and all this thing, I'm acting out in these ways or whatever. And then when I'm out in front of public, when I'm out in front of people, that I'm talking the good talk, but I'm not walking the walk. I really applaud those guys, because that's a renewal time. They took advantage of this time where they had to spend some time with themselves and really take a look at themselves, because there's a lot of people out there, the hardest thing that they can do is spend time with themselves. I mean, I had to go through it. I still am. It was several years ago. I had to take a look at and really take a look at, who am I? I have to spend 24/7, 7 days a week for the rest of my life with me, that image that looks back at me in the mirror. And as I see that image, I go, who are you? And I'm still learning. I'm still learning about that. But again, my hands up to these relatives, brothers who, again, during this time of isolation, the long winter, we might call it. Amongst those are the northern tribes or the Tlingit people, we call that the time of winter is the time to look within. The time to look within. And we had a lot of that, looking within. And so now they've taken time to look within and actually not just thinking about it, but actually making some steps to heal. And those are exactly the words that each one of them uses. Heal. I need to heal. I'm going through a healing. I want to heal so I can be a better father to my children. One of them has all girls, another one has all boys. So I can be a better role model for my children, for my family, for my clan. So that I can, when I look at myself in the mirror, that I can, like, I don't feel like I'm a fraud, but I can be proud of who is looking back at me. How about you? How about you? One of my most influential people in my life, Stan. And some of you may have heard me tell the story before about Stan. But Stan, I grew up with his son. And Stan was a fisherman. And he was good at what he did. I mean, he was good. Everyone wanted to fish with Stan because he always caught the most fish. If you catch the most fish, you make the most money. And the way he did it, everyone was always wanted to learn from Stan. The thing is about Stan, he was just an a-hole, man. He was mean. He just like cut you down, yell at you. He drank. And in the morning too, his alarm to wake you up is this big air horn, like a big truck or train coming right at you in your head. And like, get up, right down, move your ass. And that was Stan, man. And everyone just like hated this guy. They hated his personality. They hated his behaviors. But they all still wanted to fish with him because everyone made money. So this went on for several years. And then it was one day that Stan, suddenly he was on the deck of his boat and he fell over. And as he fell over, he's clutching his chest. And everyone on the deck, the crew was looking at Stan, and they had a moment of thought of like, actually, should we call the Coast Guard and call for help, or should we just let him lay there? God, that guy's just an a-hole. But they did the right thing. They called the Coast Guard. They got him transported from the boat to the hospital. And I guess Stan, he actually did pass on a few times, but he lived. He lived. But there was something there, man. There was something there that shifted. I made that shift. Something that made that shift in Stan. And Stan just became this loving human being. This human being of service. And he really searched for what it meant to love. What does love mean? And not only became this amazing human being, but he became an amazing man. It was like I heard on an elder talking about, something that stuck with me. He said that it's easy for me to be a good human being, but it's hard for me to be a good man. And that really is still sticking with me. Hard for me to be a good man, but easy to be a good human being. Because we're always talking about what it means to be that good human being out there. Be a good human being. But what does it really mean to be a good man? What is that? To be a good man. But Stan, he was on that verge. I mean, he did die. And then he came out of it, and now he started to live this other way, this other life, started living these good values, the sacred purpose, sharing, service to the community, taking time to take awe and reverence, actually taking time to smell the roses, to pet the dogs, to tell stories, to share. And this became Stan. It was sometime after that where Stan was out fishing again, because that was his love. He still caught the most fish. They still made the most money because he was good at what he did. But the crew was there was something different about that crew now. Because Stan, who was the captain of that ship, was now a different person, a different human being, a different man. But it was one day where Stan, he was out there in the boat fishing, and then and again he collapsed. He clutched his chest. And this time the crew had no problem. No, they rushed to his side and they held Stan in their arms, and as they called the Coast Guard right away. They didn't even think twice about it. We got to call the Coast Guard. We got to get some help for Stan. And they asked Stan, it's like, what can we do for you right now, in this moment, right now? What can we do for you? And Stan's last words were, just love me. Just love me. As he went and he walked for the last time into the forest. Just love me. And I just wonder how many of us that's all we want, eh? Just love me. And it's more than just about, I was at a gathering with men, and one of the men rose their hands and they said, when we're talking about love, but even saying it, those words, I love you, to your children, or to your family, or to your wife, or to your dogs, or to the land, or to the trees, or just to yourself. I love you. But he was referring to his children. He said, oh, but they know I love them. They know I love them. Yeah, I don't need to tell them. They know I love them. How do you know they love you? How do you know that you love them? How do they know that if you don't actually say it? Say those words. You could buy them shoes, you could buy them food, you can put a roof over their house, you can buy them a new car, all these things, maybe, but to actually say the words, I love you, and to hear it, and to hear it. My brother Mike, he was telling a story then about how, uh, he never heard those words from his dad as a kid, but as he got older, he finally heard those words, and it meant the world to him as an adult, as a man. It meant the world to him to hear those words from his father, I love you. And he said he felt like a kid again, that child that always was waiting for those words, I love you. Always waiting for that, that acknowledgement. I love you. And how many of us are that's always we just want to be loved. Just love me. Like the last words of Stan's last words, just love me. We're just waiting for those that just love me. From our moms, from our dads, from our siblings, wherever. That's all we want, just to be loved. Want to be acknowledged, heard. Yeah. Yeah. So thanks everybody. My name is Gene Tagaban. We're here with the Native Wellness Power Hour here, and just want to see who's on here right now. Thanks for coming on. Kim, thanks for coming on. Yeah, just love me. Tatanka, thanks for coming on. Yeah. And those of you who haven't said anything in the chat, just thanks for being here. Right on. Ruby's on here. I saw your text. Yeah. Gratitude. Yeah, that gratitude. And what are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? And so yeah, I'm just here to share some stories and share with you a little bit, and and I just want to share this story when it comes to healing, and wellness. Hang on a sec. I got to take a commercial break. Water. Water is life. 70% of our beings is water. 70% of the earth is composed of water. Think about that one. Creator had a plan. Water. Drink water. Water is life. It's good for you. That was my commercial break right there. We're back with the Native Wellness Power Hour today. Awesome. So, it was several years ago when I was younger, and I get reminded about that those days when I was younger, man. And I think about some of those good times when I was younger. Those good times. And I just want to state this too, is like I was listening to a Cherokee elder speaking, and he was speaking on capturing that state of mind, capturing that moment of gratitude, of thankfulness, of joy, of accomplishment, whatever it is. Because capture those moments, because I'm going to throw this over here and bring it in, because we always capture those hurts, those harms, those hard times, and those traumas that are always there, those thoughts, and we always those things are captured in our beingness. But sometimes we just don't push them to the side, and we pay attention to those good things, those good thoughts. And that's what he was talking about. Capture those good thoughts, that state of mind that gives you that empowerment, that love, whatever it is. Capturing those states of mind. And I think about that because sometimes in my youth, man, it's like when my hair was black and it was thick, I didn't have as many wrinkles, and I was fit, I was in shape too, and to this day, right now, I got to tell you this. Right now, I'm like nursing a rib injury. I'm nursing a rib injury because I was out mountain biking and I wrecked, and I slammed myself pretty good, and and it's Shailene Joseph. She's being producing this program right now, and she asked me earlier, so how does it feel? And I was like, oh, it feels old, man. It feels old. And I used to be able to just bounce back from these things and these injuries and stuff, but anyways, as capturing that state of mind. When I was younger, I used to be a tree planter. I used to travel out to the remote areas up in Alaska. Sometimes we'd fly us in on a helicopter, and drop off all our gear, tents, sleeping, food, tools, and the trees. We set up camp out there, and we would just start planting trees, spruce trees, white spruce, cedar trees, spacing them evenly throughout the clear cuts that they had out there, replanting whole forests out there. And there was a time when I was out there planting away, and there's another thing that comes out there. We have that intuition, or that sixth sense, or that third eye, or whatever you want to call it, that we're born with as children, but as we grow up and things happen and we get experiences in our lives, or hurt, harm, or traumas, whatever, we start to lose that. But it was a time when I was out there, and I started to get this here feeling over me. I was going, okay, there's something out here. What is going on? As I'm planting my trees out there. And then suddenly I just looked up, and sure enough, there was a big brown bear that was just staring at me. In the moment for myself, we all deal with stress. We all deal with crisis in a different way. We all deal with these things, so in that moment, when that bear was just about 20 feet away from me, just looking at me, big brown bear on Admiralty Island, some of the biggest in the world. In that moment, I just stood there, acknowledged it. I just said, My relative, I'm just here putting in what was taken away. I see everything around you. All these trees have been taken down. We're putting these here trees back. Putting these trees back. And it was my elder that says, whenever you see a bear out there, he said, go, Isha, Uhan. I'm just a pitiful human being in your presence. The bear just kind of looked at me and just sniffed the air. It's interesting, when you see those wolves and those bears, as if when they sniff the air, and our dogs, it's as if they, like, we can grab things, we can hold things, we can feel things, we have sensations with our hands and our feelings and those things. When bears and wolves and those animals, when they sniff the air, it's as if they're grabbing and grasping that sense in the air and holding them and feeling them. And that's what this bear was doing. It was just as if it was like sensing with its smell, not only the sense themselves, but like intention, energy, purpose. It was as if that's what that bear was doing. And it just kind of snorted a little bit and just looked and just turned around and casually meandered away. And I turned around, started to casually meander away too. And when I got far enough, I started to book it down the mountain, off the mountain a little bit. Told my co-workers, hey man, we got a bear in the area right now. And it wasn't until like 30 minutes later where it struck me that the like I was in the presence of this being that could just take me out like that. In the moment, I was more curious, interested, but it wasn't until later, after the event happened, where it really struck me. My heart rate started to really go, and I started just like almost hyperventilate a little bit, just going, wow, man, that was like crazy. That was crazy. And sometimes it's just how we do things too. And like, my mind started racing a lot, but in the moment, at the time, my mind was calm. Things were calm. Things were just calm. I was just in the moment. I was in the moment. I was listening to an elder talk again. He was talking about how a trauma mind is a frantic mind. A trauma mind is a frantic mind. It's always racing. It's always something's going on, and we need to slow it down. Slow it down. If I had that frantic mind in the moment of right there, that bear, I think the results would have been much different. But I thank the creator, I thank my ancestors for allowing me to slow it down in the moment. Slow it down in the moment. And how can we slow our systems down? How can we slow our systems down? It was on that same trip. We had another guy out there. I'll call him a Yahoo, because up there in Alaska, we just get a bunch of hunters from the States and people from the States, and they just dress up in their camouflage gear. And they always have to have the biggest knife. The biggest knife. Kind of reminds me of those guys have to have the biggest trucks. They're compensating for something. I'm not going to even go there now. But had to have the biggest knife. But we're out there in the woods, in the forest, and I love how when you're out there, your body acclimates to the environment. When I say that, it's because we had bugs, we had no-see-ums, we had white socks, we had mosquitoes all around us. At first, they were just bugging us, landing on us and stuff. But after a time, your body starts to secrete oils and starts to acclimate to the area. And so the bugs were flying around, but they weren't landing on you. But we needed a little help. And so we had this one guy come out. And, he was definitely a Yahoo, just talking. He had his big knife. always had to show you his knife. And we're like, oh man, this is a mistake. Why did we bring this guy out here? But the thing is, he was always freaking out about bears, man. And it's one of those things where you're out there in the woods and you have somebody who's afraid of something. Sure enough, you're going to see it, and we saw so many bears that year with that guy out there. We just had to get him out of there. I was like, yeah, you're crazy, man. We don't need you out here. But it was this one time he was looking up on the mountain. It was springtime. He was looking up on the mountain, way up there at the top of this avalanche chute. And I was just taking a look at the top of this avalanche chute. Sure enough, way, way, way up there, way over there, suddenly he yells out, bear, 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 bear. We're going, where? Because we're always looking around us if there's a bear right next to us. But he goes, right there. And he looks at the top of this avalanche chute at the top of the mountain. It's springtime. Just goes right there. And it was just a little dot like that walking across the avalanche chute up there. And we're going, are you serious, man? That's why no need to be freaking out about that. And as we're watching that bear, suddenly way up there, that's just a little dot. We're at the bottom of that avalanche chute. Suddenly that bear just starts to slide down a little bit, losing its grasp, slide down a little bit, sliding down a little bit more, and then it just starts to get momentum, and this bear is just starting to slide down. It's going down backwards. It's trying to dig in its claws down this avalanche chute, and then it rolls over, starting to roll down this avalanche chute. We're like just watching this bear going down, tumbling down this avalanche chute, trying to grasp, going head first, just all different directions. It reminded me of a time back in the day when I was younger. We used to watch Mutual of Omaha, Wild Kingdom. I don't know how many of you have ever seen that, and you old timers, I know you remember that, Mutual of Omaha, Wild Kingdom. But we're watching it. It reminded me of that, as this bear is just like tumbling down, trying to stop itself, sliding down this avalanche chute. And we're like going, oh man, I wish we had a camera right now or some way to film this as it's coming down. But the thing is, we suddenly realized that this bear isn't like way over there anymore, but that bear is starting to get closer and closer. And it's just not a little dot on the avalanche chute anymore. Now it's starting to be bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And we're at the bottom of the chute, and it comes down. As it hits the ground at the bottom of the avalanche chute, it just gave out a big whew, like, just if you fell down and you slammed yourself too. And then it just stood up and just kind of shook its head and looked around as if it was saying, I hope nobody saw that. Man, it was awesome. But the thing is, suddenly this bear that was like way over there, but is now just like this here little, that was a dot, was now right in front of us, because it came closer, closer and closer. And now we had now it was like legit bear. We need to leave the area now. So we rapidly just like exited that area, that woods or that plot too. We didn't plant that plot. We had to go to another area too, and so that bear would clear out. And yeah, pretty interesting. But I share that story too, is because capturing that state of mind, man. Oftentimes too, when we're in those negative states or those unresourceful states, they're like, we feel like we have the world on our shoulders. We're holding the world on our shoulders. Sometimes we just need to distance ourselves, push some of this here images or voices or whatever it is, push it away a little bit. Just give yourself a little bit of a break. Like when that bear is way over there, we felt no threat from it. But as soon as the bear got right here, we're like going, our stress levels went up. Now it's time to do something about this. It's how life too is sometimes, eh? We have these issues that are right here. Yeah, right here, right now. We might be just be making them up too. They may not even have happened yet. Or maybe they have happened, but we keep rethinking it over and over and over and over and over in our minds. Sometimes we just need to distance ourselves a little bit from that. Leave it in one place and just walk back away from it. Because it's okay to actually look at it way over there. And then that way we can get a good look. We can actually sit and be relaxed and calm and just actually observe it way over there. Sometimes we just need to take a look at ourselves too. It was my teacher, Chris. He said, go be the tree, go be that eagle, go be that hawk. Go step inside of it and go be it. And then look at yourself and see what you see. Sometimes we just need to take a look at ourselves at a distance. And what is it that you would tell yourself? What are those wisdom? With that wisdom, those words of wisdom, or those words of healing, or those nurturing words, or those just love me words or feelings that you would give to yourself. That you would give to yourself at a distance. You push, let yourself stand over there, and like you see yourself standing over there, way over there. Wow, and you can observe yourself. Who is that person over there? Who is that? What are they doing? Who do they want to be? What kind of elder are they going to be? Or mom and dad, or grandparent, or brother and sister? What kind of human being? What kind of man or woman? To actually share with yourself and speak to yourself. Yeah. What would you say? And then get closer, and then get closer and closer and closer to yourself. And see how that changes for you. The closer you get to yourself. And then step into yourself. Actually step into yourself. That image of yourself, step into it and look at everything through those eyes, your own eyes, and look around and see what happens. What does healing mean to you? What does wellness mean to you? To really explore this, especially this time of year, man. We're in the springtime. It's time of renewal. It's time of growth. It's time of growth. Let's take a look here. As I'm taking a look here. Now we have Kevin on here. Thanks for being on here, Kevin. Now we have Star. Right on. Thanks for coming on, just to listen. Just to listen. I think it's Lisa Osio. Oh, Wado. Rose. It's good to see you on here too. So thank you all for coming on. I mean, I can go on and on and on. We're starting to run down on our time here, and and as my teacher says, time sometimes just goes by so fast. Sometimes time just goes by so slow. Either way, it's going by. So you got to make the most of your time. Like this time that we just had right here in this power hour. This moment, and that's all it was. This is the moment. Our story is made up of moments. Our life story is made up of moments. Moments. But this moment that you just spent with me here, with the Native Wellness Institute, this hour will never ever happen again in the existence of this earth. This moment, the sacred moments. Start looking for those sacred moments. Sometimes we're just meandering through life, being a beingness. But then there's like those times, those sacred moments. Find those sacred moments. Capture those sacred moments so that you can go back and reflect on them. Capture those sacred moments. So thank you all for being here. You guys are just, you're beautiful. You're sacred. You're strong. You belong. And what's your story? What's your story? How do you introduce yourself? How do you introduce yourself? Yeah. How do you love? How do you look for love? You know, maybe you're having difficulty in your relationship, right now, and and you guys have been through a lot. Maybe just take a moment, just push the side away, push all that garbage, that junk away, just to the side, and just take a moment, just to love each other, just in that moment, just to hug each other, just to hug each other. Take some time, hug your children, your grandchildren, pet the dogs, hug the dogs. And I hate to admit this, but yeah, it's okay. You can hug your cat too. You can hug your cat. That's all right. So with that, my name is Gene Tagaban with the Native Wellness Power Hour here. Take a look at our website, www.nativewellness.com. We have some programs coming up. I think next week we have a program, adults working with Native youth. Check it out, adults working with Native youth. Check out some of the other things that are coming up with the Native Wellness Institute. Some other programs. And also programs that we're taking a look at, we're going to start meeting in person as well. Yeah. But take care of your spirit, each and every one of you. Take care of your spirit. Yeah. So with that, just want to say thank you. Signing off. Native Wellness Institute, KNWI, signing off. Take care and rock on. Ha ha.